Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a Joe cell. Um, if you guys don't know what a Joe cell is, it's basically a free energy device that I've never seen it working, but I did see videos of it a long time ago. I don't know, probably like 12, 15 years ago. By this fellow Joe in Australia, and he showed some government people over there in Australia. They're some kind of a agency to show that he's running a free energy car now. The unfortunate thing with that is that the people in the know that free energy is possible. I tend to think so, but getting it to work for you, it's kind of like I've been talking about that. Hey, by the way, hey, I forgot. That's better. I thought something was weird. Huh? Ooh, that's scary. Okay, but anyways, I got my gloves on, hands-on stuff. Boy, am I okay. So, anyways, he's got this device working, and how many people can get this thing to work is very few. Learn about free energy. If you're gonna get something to work for you, and if you put it out there in videos and so forth, people are going to try to replicate or duplicate. Okay, whatever. Replicate. Let's just say replicate. They're going to try to do it on their own, and they're gonna fail, and then they're going to say, "Oh, he's a hoax. He's only doing it for clicks and stuff like that." It doesn't work for everyone. The same thing with magic. An example is that wealth generator that I have. It's hard to convince people that are stuck in a certain mindset because we've been trained, schooled. Everything that we see on television is all 3D. There's nothing different. It's always 3D. Especially today, there's no God. There's no, churches are only, they show you these crazy people at midnight or on Sunday mornings, and they only show the bad part of it. Unfortunately, people, they forget about Christ, and they forget about their true beliefs and why they should be believing in what they do. Anyways, I'm getting into religion, but people are set in a oh boy, how can I say it? Like a field, like a magnetic field, that any idea outside of that field is impossible because it's been proven in the universities, and there's no such thing, and blah 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 blah, this and that. It's like kids today, they've been trained that we come from the monkey, and unfortunately they grow up thinking that we're nothing but we're nothing, and a lot of them just die thinking that way, and this is one of those things that it comes around in different ways. That free energy is there, and all you have to do is just pull it out, that's the hard part. Like I said, and I think I talked about it before in another video. I had a lawnmower that was without hooking up any cells or anything to it. It's like the thing was running on a dry tank. It was dry. You can visibly see that there was no liquid on that, on the gas can. You look inside with a flashlight. It's, how plastic is. A piece of plastic. This is a television thing. Gadget. What the hell is it called? Anyways, if you put like oil on this side here, It's already oily, but if you put more oil, it is already oily. But if you clean it out, that plastic becomes opaque, kind of like I don't know, like satin. If you put oil on it, it becomes shiny. So, so, anyways, it's like you can see when something is dry. You look inside, like I was looking inside this tank. You can tell when something is wet, but it was dry, bone dry, and the lawnmower is going. It's not at full speed like when you have gasoline in it, but it was running for like an hour, on slower and slower and slower and slower. It was like if it was running out of gas for a whole hour. Finally, it died out, but it told me that it's doing something different. And one of the things that happened to me, there's been others too. Let me tell you about my little car. Yeah, I used to have a Fat Track. It was called back in 72 or so. Fat Track, and big track. Cars go around in a circle with. You charge them up with a little battery charger, and they would go around, I don't know, about 13, 15 laps or so, and then you recharge them. There was one car, and I don't know what happened to this car, but it always kept going more than the other cars. And eventually, I was getting the thing to do 100 laps. And then finally it started winding down. I had to go to sleep, so I stopped the car for the next day. And it would do it over and over. You juice it up and it would go like, it would outlast every other, I don't know, I had about 6 of those little cars. They go in their Fat Track real fast. And it was the only one that would just keep going and going and going. And one time I'm just looking and looking. I didn't count how many times, but it was just, it's like, how come it just keeps going and going? I think I told my mom about it. Was it the shape of the car? I still have it in the basement someplace. I finally stopped playing with them for whatever reason. I don't know what happened, and I put the set away, and I never touched it again. I never tried to investigate what was going on. If anything, I think I remember that I tried tuning it up. I mean, if it works, don't tune it, unless it's, beginning to do something. I might have put a little oil on it. I might have retouched the contacts. Back then, you had motors with carbon contacts, and maybe reset the springs or one thing or another. And if I can remember, I don't think it ran as good as it did. For whatever reason, I should have just left it alone. It would have been nice to study it, just to see how fantastic that was. I think a lot of us run into stuff like this. We see something odd, and it's like, how can that be if it's got batteries? And then how come maybe somebody replaced the batteries on that, but how come it's still shining? Or how come it's... I think I had some flashlights like that also. They just kept shining and shining. And saying, this one always works, but you don't pay attention to these things. Anyway, that's why I can't kind of believe that... free energy and alternative modes or methods are there. It's just that we haven't. Some of us need to play with this stuff, and I don't think. Here, let me tell you this. I don't think it's a good idea to tell the world. For instance, I only have 10 subscribers or so, and I don't know why I'm doing this. It may help someone out there. They have a hunch, and it may help their development into knowing something alternative, something different than we're taught. People that go to the universities and they're taught a certain way that physics work, those people is like, forget them. They're pretty much they're pretty much fried. They've been taught the wrong way. They've been taught things that are possible and yet not 100% what they should be. They should be required for them to know. And I don't know if it's a conspiracy or it's just ignorance of man. I tend to think both, but I don't think these things are, you can put out a newspaper ad. Hey, I've discovered free electricity or free energy. This is how you do it. And I can guarantee you 99.99999% of the people are going to say, they're just going to change the page. And they're going to say, this guy is nuts. Look at my wealth generator. How many of you guys are beginning to get what I'm talking about? Okay, I keep talking about it. One of you is going to say, hey, I'm going to look into this. That's why I'm doing this video. I don't want to. We don't want to, break down society with, free energy or anything like that. Is it possible? Yeah. When it's time for this stuff to be possible, it's gonna spread and it's gonna be big, but it's gonna be probably on a more of a spiritual basis than anything that the man can conceive or governments can manipulate people into believing. So I started working on my Joe cell. I started working on electrolysis. Hooking up, my first test was hooking up the AC power, hooking up two wires into a cup of water. I mean, don't try this. Don't try this with AC. DC is more forgiving, but you can still get an AC. What do you call it? Sort of like a kickback of alternative current. But DC is a lot safer. And I did AC. Nothing happened. I didn't put my finger in there. No, don't ever do that, guys. Please. If you do anything, do any testing. I'm just telling you what I did. Be careful with some of this stuff. Just be careful, and read up about it more and get yourself a certain mindset before you start tinkering. After the AC, I had left it alone. It's like, didn't do anything, I don't see anything happening. Then I heard about that Iraq battery. Supposedly it's about a 1.5 volt battery. Right there you can get into batteries and stuff like that. That's very safe, if you want to try some electrolysis with a 1.5 volt battery, you can do stuff. And you can try stuff like that, tinkering around. That's how you discover something new. This is not going to be in any... If a science book has it, it just touches a little part of it, but it doesn't go into detail. It's energy. You're controlling energy with low voltage. You would think that high voltage is better, but sometimes low voltage it works more over time, maybe a week or 2 weeks until you get some kind of a result, than to have something like a fast battery charger that you get amps. You get 100 amps into the water. You only have like a milliamp going into the water with a certain voltage. Over a few days, it may do probably. It may you will see an effect. You'll see something happening. You'll see metals discoloring or taking a different color. And that's what I did. Little by little, I started getting into it more and more, and just observing what things, how this worked. Trying to get something out of the... By the way, this is what alchemy really is. It's combining a couple things and getting a third result, right? Uh, my journey started by around 2000, let's say 2005 or so. hmm About 2005, I really got into it. I had already tried some electrolysis in my basement about 1997, 98 or so. Little stuff here and there. I've already known, read, seen videos about this stuff, and it just intrigued the heck out of me. I don't know. There's a video. If I see it, I'll put it down in the links or something down below. It's about free energy and different inventors, and after a while, some of these inventors turned out that they really weren't creating something new. It was just a way to basically just get money. Weaver was one of the fellows. He did a show on television, and he had a guy do a electric car or something like that, and the car would charge itself up, but he eventually said that it didn't work. So some of these things don't work. I don't want to say fraud. It's just probably more people are more over enthused about their work, and once money starts coming in, that's it. It becomes a flop. For some reason, and once money touches some of these inventors, they all of a sudden it's like they lose their power. I don't know. Spiritual thing, if I do something like this, if I get free energy, it's like I'm not telling anyone, and if I do, I'm gonna disappear. I could disappear. I could get. You've heard about Vimanas and stuff like that. I could set and not only that, I'm also I work magic, and I'm into that. I could literally disappear from the face of the earth, and nobody can ever know where I'm at if I get these devices working. So far, it's not like I have something to hide or anything like that, but it's like you could reach another world, your world, because you're not tied into this world anymore. Even though I still have a physical body, I could literally just, virtually just create my own independent world without having to be tracked by governments and the corporations and having to answer mails and all kinds of, because you don't need it anymore. I think there's some people in history that have achieved certain things, things that don't make sense. Isaac Newton, he wrote what was that? How many manuscripts did that guy write in a little time? He wrote a ton of them. And how does somebody go about writing so much material in a lifetime? I haven't even, I barely write a letter to, when my dad was alive, I would, "Hi Dad, how are you? Everything's okay?" "Yeah, everything's okay, and hope all's well," and that's it. It's like, I'm exhausted. And these guys can write and write and write. And how do they find the time to think about Tesla, for instance? Also, he's another guy. How did he find the time to think of, or was this knowledge there already? And then we get into the that thing about people, and that we had like a reset back in the 1870s, 1860s, 1870s. Did we have some kind of a reset? And why aren't these races already mixed Why are we just beginning to just mix races in basically the last 50 years? Transportation's gotten cheaper, and all kinds of races. People mix themselves up. Where do you go and so forth? How come this wasn't in supposedly the thousands and thousands of years? And if you go with the monkey people, the millions and millions of years, how come we didn't mix races a lot sooner, but only for the last 50 years? Anybody wondering, or anybody watching, minding the store to see what's really going on? Not really, we just a lot of people just turn on The View and watch these crazy women talk shit about, Trump and Reagan and whoever. And then we go on with our lives trying to just figure out stuff as we're in this ship. We're in this Earth ship, thinking that somehow we're going to be. A lot of us thinking that we're going to reach our happiness someday here. I certainly don't count on it, unless I do something extraordinary, and that's why I'm working on this stuff, and that's why stuff like the Joe cell intrigues me. I'm sorry for going on too long on the video, but I just wanted to start with Joe cell. I have built it, but not to the point that the way Joe would have designed it. The what was that called? The plinth, the base of it. It's I don't have the tooling and I don't have the welding equipment. Although now I do, and I can probably start doing something. Hopefully this summer. I am going to show you the cell. Maybe I'll take it apart live here, but if any of you guys are interested more in this, I'll keep talking about it as I get ideas. It's a very intriguing thing. Probably out of all the things that I have seen, the Hutchinson effect. They're all related. They're all related somehow to the cell. They have a certain foundation, certain energy that you tap into. That back in World War II, that's how. I don't want to say the word, but we all know who they are. They were heavily into the occult, and it's too bad that they didn't. At the time, the world was racist. Everybody was racist. Even people in the U.S. were racist. It wasn't just that they were. Everybody was racist. And South America, everybody was so freaking racist. It's now that we've changed our views, and I've seen it in my life. I've seen it over the last 50 years that I've really been paying attention. I mean, before you had a lot of racists where I live, and a lot of racism all over, even in South America. Things have kind of calmed down now. We've let everybody kind of in, and I don't know if that's good or not. We have let it integrate with one another. Again, I don't know if it's good or not. Like I say, nobody's really minding the store. And unless we get another reset, things are, mankind is going to progress in a certain way. And I kind of think these resets are common. Okay, let me stay with the subject about the Joe cell. Materials of the Joe cell are 316L stainless steel, which is a food grade stainless steel, and it has to be extruded, no welding. When you have that weld down the middle, you see a mark. That mark means that the magnetic poles of the material have been inverted. They're not aligned as something that it's a hot, cold or hot. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't think. But something that is extruded is equal. So you get magnetism in all around the same way. Where it's been, when you have a sheet and it's been rolled and then welded down the center, you change the magnetism in the center of it, and you get a little black mark. That's where you 303 the material. It's a weld. It's a weld. You weld it, and the magnetics are not equal. Magnetics are not equal to one another. Where something that is extruded, it's just pushed and out, and everything is equal. It's in balance, and that's the key. In balance, not in balance. It has to be balanced. Okay, so you have to be in balance, not imbalanced. Okay, always remember that. Joe talks about the magnetism. It has to be a certain way. And now he has a very, I don't know what happened to Joe. I haven't heard anything about him. I don't see any videos or anything about him. But he would say that everything is magnetic. And he has a way of looking at these tubes. Okay, it's 5 tubes. They're about 7 inches high. I think it's supposed to be 5 or 6, but 6 is not a good number. And I'll explain that. And he talks about the number 6 also. Number 6 is you want to avoid it. It's not a good number. It's always bringing strife and conflict. And 5 or 7 is good. 6 is not very good. It has to have about 7 inches in length. Each tube has to be about 7 inches in length. I'll bring a diagram. I'll make up a diagram and show you guys, and probably next video or one of these days. And it has to be. Now he is. I don't know. He has a certain. He knows. He has a certain knowledge. Okay, it's not something that he's born with this stuff. It's like he knows how to. If you have a tube here and another tube here, and this goes inside, it has to be turned in a certain way and then put together. Now, he can't tell you that because it's something that it's in his knowledge. He knows, but he can't explain it to you. It's like you gotta, if you have the feel of putting the tube inside the other one and turning it until you feel good or something. The dowsing rods that I did. I was playing around with those dowsing rods to see if the grayscales are going to be any good or the crypto's going to be good. I think we had positive readings for that. How soon? I don't think I found out. We found out about that. But anyways, it's something similar to that. He knows how to tune them. How do you do that? That's something he cannot explain. It's just something he's born with. Now, if you have the ability to, maybe, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? Does it feel better? Does this feel better? You probably are going to get a feeling for what you want to do. Okay. In my case, I want free energy for my car. Basically, I want my car to fly. I want my car to be invisible. I want my car to be faster than any other known vehicle ever. I want it to be self-regenerating, invisible, invincible. In other words, nobody they can throw a bomb at it and nothing happens to the car or the occupants. Okay, so as crazy as it sounds, if you can do a little magic, think about, if I can get that lawnmower to work an hour without gas, is there a possibility that that little car they ran for another hour with? I mean, I had to stop it because it's time to go to bed. I was only like 10, 11, 50. No, I don't know. I was like, between 8 and 13. I forget what I was. Maybe 5. Don't remember. Anyways, if it's going to work on a small level, it could be brought up. And there was this somebody had contacted. I forgot which angel was it, or a demon. I know. Demons are not that bad, and we're the ones who are evil. Okay, between demons and ourselves, we're terrible. There's angels, demons, and demons are actually trying to help us. They do a lot of evil stuff to get our heads to. One of these angels said that in order to work with these things, is like you have to resist it. You have to resist it. You have to resist it. What does resistance means? In other words, you have to pull and pull and pull and try to pull and try to pull. And little by little, you're going to start getting that energy to come in. You want it to do what you want it to do. You want to make it work the way you want it to. Perhaps it's something like magic, Magic, you work on something and you just don't say, I want pancakes, and you wave your wand. Remember I said use this hand for your wand. This one receives, the right hand receives, and this one gives. With this one you give. Look at all the Egyptians and everything in those were magic wands. Okay, those sticks that they used and so forth. They held them with their left hand usually. I tend to think also that machetes and swords and things like that were magical items used to defeat the enemy. But it's energy. And you build this energy up until you acquire that energy. Acquiring the energy takes perhaps time, and just looking at these things, having the time to think and just sit back and, wow, amazing. Yeah, how does it work? How do I make something work? And you develop something. And I hate to say it, but there's stuff that I have done that I go, oh my God, I actually did that because I wanted it to happen. And certain things have happened that, I really wanted with energy and drive, and just, it has to happen. Joe's cell, is that a magical cell, basically? I mean, we've all heard about the genies in the bottles, right? But I do have a little, like an Aladdin's lamp. They sell them on eBay or Amazon. Cute decorations. They're made out of glass and painted gold with a chain, and beautiful. I have some items in there for my purposes. But is the Joe cell a sort of like an Aladdin's lamp? Now, Joe says that you can use the cell for different things. You can use it for healing. Sort of like a singing bowl. I have one of those. And it seems to work sometimes, when you use the bowl in a certain, to heal something. Or it's great for aligning your what's this called? Your little rocks, crystals. It's you put them underneath them, and I'm not sure how to use it really well. I just usually use salt to clear them of any negativity, and then I use them for whatever purpose it is that I'm using them for. So, oops. So can the cell? Uh, is the cell actually like a singing bowl? Uh, it's something that the any Joe cell builder is got to look into, and he's got to get those ideas, those old ideas of physics. You have to throw them out in order to start working on something like this. You've got to be born again in a certain way. You've got to be born again because you're born into this world with its ideas, and it's like, no, I don't want it. Some people do. Some people believe in the world and they want to be happy, and they're never gonna be happy. Not in this world. Not in this world, guys. If you're happy for a year, congratulations. Next year you're gonna be sick, or you're gonna have some disease, that uncurable disease, or something's gonna happen. Something is always happening. Always. If you have a break for a month, nice. Good luck to you. Congratulations. But things always happen. With that, what else do I need to say about this? I think that's all I want to talk about right now. It has to be 360 nil. It has to be a certain size. I'll bring my drawings one of these days out just to give you the right stuff. The drawings are out there, but be careful. There's some people that have they're not really Joe cell builders. They're more like sensationalism. You got to be careful with what you see. Not everything that I've seen out there about Joe can be true. There's videos out there that show these supposedly breathing cells or whatever. Joe never said anything about any breathing cells. That was that fellow in another guy in Australia. What was his name? I forgot. So he made a couple of videos. Did he run a car with that? There's no video of that. With Joe, there is a video of him. There's some other videos too, like Peter Stevens. Basically, they kind of co-founded the Joe discovered it, invented it, but it was because of Peter Stevens. So you got to give the guy credit too. Peter wanted to build something, have Joe build something, and Joe built it, and it worked. But Peter shows a car in California or Arizona, a diesel engine working on the cell, but being like something like 50% efficient. In other words, the gas mileage is better, half is better than not having the cell. Still, it's not, a Joe cell works completely without gasoline. It kind of makes me think, I'd like to go back to that lawnmower and see if I can get it working. It works better in cool weather. When it's hot summer, it dies out quick. But when it's cool, in the fall, that's when I get it running, and it just stays running. If the temperature is cool, and it could be the dampness on the ground that's producing the lawnmower is getting energy from. Like I say, I stopped a lot of my experimenting about 8 years ago when my mom started kind of losing it. Not losing it, but more like 5 years ago, she really started coming down, and I needed to be with her all the time. And so it's like I've taken I don't want to say a vacation. I've just taken a leave of absence to help my mom. I had to leave everything. I'll talk about more about the charging and all that as we go along. But yeah. Oh, the other thing about the rubber parts, they have to be Buna N rubber material. I found a rubber hose, and sometimes you have to try different sources. Great source is aircraft parts for small engine aircraft. They sell hoses. They sell the hose Buna L or Buna N hose by the foot, and you can buy the different diameters depending on how thick your walls are and stuff like that. You're gonna have to design it yourself basically. What else? The water. It has to be. I don't want to say charged. I know that the word charge is used loosely, I guess. I would say more like conditioned. The water has to be electrolyzed, basically. And Joe only says for a few seconds. Now, first, you can use charged water or you can use the cell as it is, depending on what setup you have. You may have a cell that's not going to start right away, or you can have a cell that's going to not want to get going, probably because of the manufacturing process, where those tubes come from, perhaps the region that they come from. So they're going to be kind of like stuck. Just because you have tubes and pipes and all the things together doesn't mean that the spirit of them, is there. You may have to work on it. I got one cell that I think it might be good. I even have a test engine for it, guys, by the way. It's a 1961 Cutlass with a 215 engine. Now this engine, it's an aluminum V8. I had it running on gasoline 5 years ago. But this aluminum engine was used on from General Motors, and then it was sold eventually to Land Rover, and then Rover over in Australia. The Rovers used to have 215 V8, and that's what Joe, he says that those engines work right away. So I have that 215 engine, and when I get time and I get back into the swing of things, hopefully I'm going to start working on that car. If not, I would like to, if I'm not going to do anything in the next few years, I'd like to just pass that car on to somebody who wants to play around and tinker with a 215 engine. But it's a little V8. It's aluminum. It's all aluminum, I believe, and it doesn't have it's water cooled too, which is another thing that supposedly helps the water on the cell envelop the engine and making it work. A lot of us think that gasoline runs the engine, but I don't know, something else going on. Maybe not. But I see it differently. Look at a pulse jet. They got these guys with pulse jets in cans, and boy, do they sound just like an engine. It's like listening to like a two cycle engine. Is that what it is? Is that what the principle is? Attach a cylinder and make it go up and down. And if you can use that kind of fuel, can you use fumes? Can you use gas? Can you use kerosene, diesel? How many types of fuels can you use to make that engine, do that in that can? There's videos out there. Check them out. Okay, guys, I think that's it for now. It's gonna be a long video, so forgive. I'll talk more about this it's going to be on a different link. So watch out for these. Okay, guys? Bye.